Read the opening statement of Ranking Member Grassley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if Senator Grassley is watching, I think we both wish him a full and speedy recovery. I'm happy to read his opening statement. Mr. Chairman, thank you for calling today's hearing on our international tax system. The subject of this hearing is a blast from the past. The issue of corporations shifting profits and operations offshore was a problem Senator Baucus and Senator Grassley explored regularly as either chair or ranking member of finance for much of the 2000s. The most egregious abuses included companies switching their headquarters offshore in name only for the primary purpose of avoiding U.S. tax. To stem the tide of these so-called corporate inversions, Senator Baucus and Grassley spearheaded anti-inversion legislation enacted in 2004. However, they understood that ending inversions and other abuses for good would require reforming our uncompetitive corporate tax code. Over the following 12 years, a bipartisan consensus emerged that our high corporate tax rate, coupled with an outdated worldwide system of taxation, needed to go. But legislative action remained elusive. Our corporate tax system was being strained to its breaking point. We face a resurgence of corporate inversions, tax-motivated foreign takeovers, and a shrinking corporate tax base. Then in 2017, Republicans enacted the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act to modernize our international tax system and bring our corporate tax rate in line with other developed nations. This included enacting strong anti-base erosion and profit-shifting rules. These reforms reversed a decades-long trend of a shrinking corporate tax base, driven in part by corporate profit-shifting and base erosion practices. As shown by this chart, CBO now projects our corporate tax base to be on the verge of becoming larger than at any time in the last 20 years. As explained by a 2023 paper published in the Contemporary Accounting Research Journal, under our previous tax code, foreign income was heavily tax-favored. This research confirms our reforms largely eliminate this tax bias. Moreover, the adoption of a lower corporate tax rate and other pro-growth reforms made the U.S. a more attractive place for both domestic and foreign investment. Some Democrats have tried to demonize these reforms, particularly the lowering of the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% as a supposed radical right-wing corporate tax giveaway. But what they don't tell you is these reforms merely move the U.S. from being a high-tax outlier amongst our major trading partners to the middle of the pack. The truth is, TCJA was a thoughtful and measured response to problems that plagued our corporate tax system for decades, and it worked. Upon its passage, companies called off inversion plans, and there have been no reports of major inversion transactions since. According to a study recently released by the National Bureau of Economic Research, TCJA significantly boosted domestic investment, contributing to higher wages and economic growth. Jason Furman, who was President Obama's chair of economic advisors, responded to the robust evidence in this paper, exclaiming, quote, "Taxes actually do matter," unquote, along with a series of online posts praising the study. I support continuing to explore options to further improve our international tax system. But proposals included in President Biden's proposed budgets to Congress would take America's tax code backwards. President Biden wants to take us back to having the highest corporate tax rate amongst our major trading partners, and back to an international tax system that put U.S. companies at a disadvantage in overseas markets, while also surrendering our sovereignty and tax base to foreign nations. This means lower wages and lost jobs. This Senator Grassley cannot support. That ends his statement. I'll just say that from my standpoint, I would never defend the U.S. corporate tax system. I mean, it's a mess. It's complicated. And what I would like to see is this committee and the Finance Committee work toward tax simplification and tax rationalization. We're going to be talking about all kinds of very complex tax issues at this hearing today. And if we just focus our attention on what we can do to eliminating the complexity and focus on simplifying and rationalizing a tax system, I think an awful lot of these problems would take care of themselves. But with that, thank you, and I look forward to hearing